Well, good morning again. This is a ceremony that we've been doing since 2013, and it was brought to our attention by a former member, Regan Mack. If you check out our newsletter on the website, you'll see a reprint of a short article he wrote about the ceremony. You'll find that there, so check our website for that. So, as it was initially presented, it was about us being away through the summer on our travels, taking vacations, and coming back then in September after having done that, and usually September is marked by the start of school, and vacation time is over, and so it's about like returning to our community, our spiritual home. And while we had been away, sort of gathering the water in remembrance of the community and with the intention of sharing what our summer experience had been and celebrating the return, celebrating the reconnection to home. So as our spiritual home, we are returning and reconnecting. Perhaps we haven't been traveling as much since the COVID years. Things have certainly changed a lot, but I do know a lot of us did get a chance to get away this summer. And even if you hadn't, it's sort of a seasonal change too. So as we think about coming back together and preparing for the fall and the winter coming, it's kind of an idea of rejoining. And so as we each share our story and pour water into the bowl here, we'll be combining the waters and again symbolizing that joining together and symbolizing the oneness of each of us. No matter where we travel, how far, we're always one in spirit. And so this is a lovely ritual that we do every year now to mark that and to celebrate our coming back together again. So we're just going to welcome anyone to come up to the microphone. If you're on Zoom, I see some of you have containers of water there ready. You'll be pouring your water symbolically into another container and sharing with us. So if you're on Zoom, just put your hand up, and I'll call on you, sort of intermittently with the people in the room here. And if you don't have water and you want to have the experience of just pouring the essence of you and your experience into the bowl, you can use the pitcher of water here and add from that. And so let us begin. And would you like to start, Randall, since I'm already up here, and then I'll settle back into the Zoom job over there. So.
Zoomaruma. Okay, this is the water that we collected from Lake Michigan when we went to Grand Haven this summer, which was the closest to camping that we've had since 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a while.
And we found this beautiful pine forest. Thank you, Dave. That the pine trees have this chemical that when the sun hits it just right and you breathe it, especially the white pines, it's like a drug. It makes you feel so good. And we found the downwind position and we just bathed in it. And we went in the lake, and the lake healed us. And, well, I would say what the water is for me, but I would like you to say some more maybe for you.
No, go ahead.
The water has helped me. Molecularly, it's helped me structure the beauty of flowing structure in my life, which is helping me learn how to say yes to everything. Just as the water conforms to everything. And I can't even explain why I'm learning how to say yes to everything, but I am. And I don't have to know I don't know what the intention, I don't have to put intention in the water, because the water contains all beauty, it's sublime, and it teaches me that I don't have to know what's right, because what's right becomes revealed to me as I stop saying no. And the subatomic component of the water is also appearing to me as the source of energy that drives the structure. And there's a mind in the water too that informs that energy, and that is connected to everything. It's not just the water, it's what informs the water. And it is in everything, and we are so blessed to have it.
All right. Hard to follow that. I just love Lake Michigan. I love being by the water, looking at the water, walking in the water, even splashing down in the water. I'm not much of a swimmer, but it is cleansing, refreshing, and rejuvenating. And having not had a chance to go to the lake for such a long time, many years, it was just wonderful this year to get over there. And we vowed to go more frequently, and we haven't yet, but but hope to do that. So it's just, for me, symbolizes just that rejuvenation and nurturing experience of being in the water. Okay.
You can pour for both of us.
Okay. Whoa, this is full. Oh, this is good water. Don't want to drink it though. I don't know if I'll put it all in there because it might get full. I'm going to save room.
Miigwech.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So look, those cans. And I see Heidi, go ahead because I know you have to. Okay. Well, go ahead anyway.
So I'm a water sign, therefore water has been important to me all of my life. At home I have 3 little bottles of water that I'm extremely protective over, and therefore I did not pack them and bring them today. I wouldn't have given up any of the water anyways. One is from the North Sea, which is the ocean that separates the mainland in Europe from Great Britain, and I was born in a bay off the North Sea. So that bottle is my childhood, and I'm not letting it leave the house. The other one is from a drinking fountain at the Vatican, and that's like, wow, it's like holy water in my house. I'm not Catholic, but I love the Pope, and I love rosaries, and water from a water fountain in the Vatican is just, wow, this is really awesome. And then the third one is from the Atlantic Ocean at the coastline of Morocco, because I had the wonderful opportunity to visit Casablanca for 2 weeks several years ago. So, but not just because I'm a Cancer and a water sign. Water is my lifeline. I drink a lot of it. And this is my absolutely favorite water bottle. And the reason why is the quote on it, which completely describes me. They whispered to her, "You can't withstand the storm." She whispered back, "I am the storm." Thank you.
Okay. Rob, go ahead and unmute, and I'll have you go first from the Zoom crowd. Unmute.
Good morning.
Thank
My water represents tears. Seems like we can't get through life without a situation in which tears are brought out of us in sorrow. And so this water represents the tears and the people in sorrow who cry these tears. And that all of us who maybe act in a comforting manner to those who cry. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Oh, yeah, Layla is going to represent the water pouring for people on Zoom here at the center. So symbolically, Rob, your water was added. All right, let's see. Marilyn, you want to go next? Go ahead and unmute.
This water represents all those people at the Chelsea Hospital who contributed to my healing, and to the friends who addressed me there and also helped. It also is to represent those people all over the world who, in whatever form, whether it be medical or otherwise, who add to the healings of the human beings around them. I give them grace.
Thank you. Anne Marie, why don't you go ahead next and unmute?
So last weekend, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Last weekend, Don and I were visiting Lake Placid, New York, which is where my brother lives, for a family reunion and also to attend my 50th class reunion. And my sister and I took a boat tour on Lake Placid Lake, which we hadn't done since we were little girls. Most people are familiar with Mirror Lake, which is what the town is centered around, but Lake Placid Lake is a much larger lake. And its surface area is 2,170 acres. However, there are only 200 homes and camps on the lake because most of the lake is part of the what they call Forever Wild. So a lot of these camps or homes you can only get to by boat. So they're only for summer purposes. And a lot of really famous people have camps up there, dignitaries, princes, and, you know, it was just amazing to hear the history of it. But mostly the most important thing was that, you know, this is where we grew up. And so maybe Don will talk about Mirror Lake. It's a smaller lake, but no less important. Both have very pristine water, as you can see. There's a little bit of moss in the bottom of this because we collected it after we'd gotten back on shore. But so this is what I would like to add to this special water ceremony.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Let's see, back to gallery. And Vicki, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, this is represents a bird bath with a bird on it, without pouring too much water on my computer. There's the water I add to it. I try to keep it clean every day, but it also represents my work out at the Bach Gardens. They published an article on Friday about the Bluebird Project, and my husband and I and several other people have been maintaining the Bluebird boxes out there, and we hatched 43 bluebirds this year, and tree swallows and house wrens. So whenever I worry about climate change, I'm happy to say I helped some birds actually uh enter into the world. Who knows how long they'll last, but so that's my water moment.
Thank you, Vicki. Okay, and Annie, you texted me and asked to also speak, so go ahead and unmute.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you are.
Oh, I regret not being there. It was just, you are all so special and important to me in my life. Anyway, here's a vase, which I've collected probably from a yard sale. And this water represents water from my son's new house. My son and his girlfriend just bought a new house in Oak Park, and they paid way too much, but they're so happy, and I'm really happy for them. So I'm pouring their water into my vase. Thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you, Annie. Wish you were here. Okay, let's see. All right, so that's all for Zoom hands up for now. And I see Bob, ready to speak.
I think I was here the first time this happened, and I really appreciate the spiritual essence of what was introduced all those years ago by Regan. And it seems like many people have been talking about the spiritual quality of their water. Mine seems more profane, but I've also sort of seen this as a kind of what I did with my summer vacation. I think it's so interesting we do this in September when all these kids in first grade and second grade are asked, what did you do this summer? Because what I did this summer is a little bit of travel, but very, very locally. For the second year in a row, I think I'm bringing water from places that I danced. This summer, I danced in 11 different cities across 4 counties. It was a really interesting experience this year of spreading love and joy through my dance, inviting people to dance and dancing in crowds and just going kind of crazy dancing. I discovered a new phenomenon. I fall in love with a woman for the night, and that happened about 15 times. But ultimately, it was 130 bands I've danced to so far, and it's not yet over. And given that, I hope you'll bear with me because I have water from 4 different locations, and they're separate. I didn't merge them. I know everybody's been pouring one thing in, but Bob's nothing if not unusual. This was from Belleville Lake. I probably danced in Belleville about 3 or 4 times, much less than usual because there were so many other interesting places. Like Plymouth, where I got this from their fountain in Kellogg Park. I love dancing in Plymouth. It's a huge park, and I just dance all over it. And the fountain just got reopened after renovations. It is beautiful at night. The next one's going to add a little funk to this because I went to Mill Pond in Brighton, and it's hard to get to the water there, and when I did, I couldn't avoid some moss. Seems to have dissolved in the water, I don't know. Probably danced there every Sunday since the beginning of July. And last but not least, for those of you who are here in Ann Arbor, place that allowed for a lot of these 130 bands was the fabulous top of the park, where I think I danced in excess of 60 bands. It was like such a fabulous, fabulous time. There was no, I mean, for people who wanted to see water in the form of rain, it wasn't coming, but every night there was no rain, there was dancing at the top of the park. And so this is from the fountain in Ingalls Mall. Thank you for bearing with my peculiarity about each of the four.
Thank you for your peculiarity.
Thank you, Bob. Who's next? Janet. Are you going to go up?
Well, as you can see, I brought my own vase of water for a good reason, which is that my garden has been my sustaining activity in the spring, summer, and fall. And I haven't traveled much. I did go back to my college reunion last fall. So this represents Lake Cayuga near Seneca Falls. I also went to Muskegon, as I do every year, to see some good friends and to ground out. So this represents Lake Michigan. And lastly, this represents my garden, which just represents life and beauty and creativity and the flow of love. And grounds me out as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Okay. Who else? Layla, go ahead. And then
Well, this is Ann Arbor tap water, but I'll let it represent a few things. So it represents certainly the water of life, as Janet was so eloquently about, and Paulette as well. I had the joy. Water is grounding and energizing and calming, and I don't know, I have to be at water as much as I can. So I had the chance to travel in the UP and to be at Lake Michigan and Lake Superior. And I have, will be going up to a place near and going to Lake Huron in a couple of weeks, and have been a couple times to Lake Erie. So I celebrate the Great Lakes and the abundance of water from them. And I thought I really did want to bring tap water because I want to honor and remember and shed some of those tears that Rob was talking about for the people of Flint, the people of Benton Harbor, and the people of Jackson, Mississippi. And I know there are other places where the people who are marginalized in our society and Detroit, don't have access to the water, aren't able to access it as freely as other people. And so I just pray that we can bring the water of life fully to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Layla. Don, and then Al.
As Anne Marie said, we're in upstate New York a little while ago. Need some water. This water is from Mirror Lake in Lake Placid. Lake Placid surrounds Mirror Lake. A pleasant thing to do is to walk around the entire lake. It's not a very big lake. It takes about an hour to walk around it or so. And it represents play in the summer and play in the winter and all sorts of good vibrations at Lake Placid. So I have this water.
Thank you, Don. And now Al is going to come up.
Well, when I taught junior high, the cycle of water was much more important to me, and the fact that water expands to make ice and floats, and the only substance much more important to me than my bored junior high school students. So, but summers, I was a park ranger out of Brighton for 7 years, and then I got full-time as the Lexington Harbor Master up in Lexington, and every morning I got to get up before the sun rose, walk down to my harbor to make sure my dock attendant showed up at 6, watch the sunrise on Lake Michigan, spend the day by the water, and be evaluated by the boaters for my contribution to making sure the bathroom toilets were clean, you know. So I don't want to make it sound too wonderful, but that was 12 years of a blessed water experience. So any water, because of the cycle, represents all waters, except stolen water from Nestle.
Thank you, Al. All right. Who else would like to share their water? Mark.
Well, continuing a little bit of a theme here, part of what's so essential about water is that it's all connected, both directly connected through the watersheds, but also through the larger water cycle that Al was talking about, where water evaporates through trees and from surface water, comes back as rain, flows through the soil, comes up in our water wells for we have drinking water, irrigation. It's all one water. This is Lake Superior water. Point out that Lake Superior is the largest and the deepest of the Great Lakes. Amazed me to learn recently that Lake Superior is so deep and the circulation of water in the lowest parts is so slow that there's water in Lake Superior today that was here before the glaciers. So we're talking tens of thousands of years.
Thank you, Mark. Lori.
Hi. So my water, I had a couple choices. I didn't know what to do. So I brought a pint of water back from Costa Rica for my earth rituals at home, and I've divvied them up in little bottles. And so this water is from, it's not a summer vacation. I've been on a few of those, but this is from late spring, Costa Rica, Pacific Ocean. And there's a whole string of beaches along the whole coast. And when I wasn't on the eco tours, I did a lot of solo hiking, so I used to hike down the beach. So this is from a place called Playa Flamingo near Brasilito, and it was just so beautiful. I mean, the ocean's beautiful, but it was so beautiful and peaceful, and it was at sunset. And so me, this water represents what the ocean represents for me, which is change and movement and freedom for everyone, and that we're all one. And I took some photographs of the sand patterns, and then I went out and got some water, and I brought some home. So this is for freedom for all, and it's for us to embrace change. And that was one of my big things in Costa Rica, embrace change and without fear. So this is for all of us that will embrace change and movement and freedom for all. Thanks.
Thank you, Lori. Anyone else? Yes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Bella. I am a student at U of M, and this is my first time coming here. I just got this water today from your drinking fountain because I learned just then that there would be this ceremony. To me, this water represents actually a new adventure instead of the end of a summer adventure, because this is my first time participating in like a spiritual gathering since I was in early high school, when I used to go to church every weekend with my parents. And the church there wasn't really something that I enjoyed. It felt more divisive than inclusive. So this is representing my spiritual journey into something that has a strong foundation of love and acceptance. So thank you all for having me.
Thank you, Bella, and welcome. And now Scott is going to come up.
Hello, I appreciate the theme and I appreciate our friend Water. This is actually my third water ceremony of the past 7 weeks. In July, I got together with some people and we had a water ceremony by the Huron River and had danced and sang and put water in the Huron River. And then in August, I got together with a similar group of folks and we waded out into the middle of the Huron River and did a water ceremony there. So I appreciate all the blessings that water brings, and I think for our friends out west, they really, really realize how important water is. So we are truly, truly blessed to have water here today, and I appreciate being here and this fellowship, and thank you, Water, for all the blessings that you bring us.
Thank you, Scott. Is there anyone else that has water to share or no water but wants to say a few words? You want to say something? Okay. All right. Randall has a few more words to say. A few.
That never happens. Scott, you've reminded me that we were having excessive rainfall at our house this spring, and I kept praying to the water spirits to send it to Arizona, to the Four Corners. And I looked on the weather, the NOAA long-term weather predictions, and the Four Corners this fall are getting more rainfall than usual. And I thought, oh, thank you. But I realized that our minds, that we can do that. I don't know if that was my mind or if just the idea came into my mind. But yeah, but we can do that. I mean, we have an abundance, so let's just think, jet stream, water, Four Corners.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone, for sharing. That was delightful. Symbolic, but it just shows how unique we all are and how much the same we all are. So thank you for participating.